So I want you to listen. And I'm going to try my best not to say it too much. Because I want you to put this on Facebook. All y'all get your tape recorders and stuff. And put this on your Facebook. It ain't me talking. It's Caucasian people. I want you to hear what they got to say. You see? Because they know how short your memory is. Your memory ain't long as John's enough. That's what old folks used to say. I don't know what it really, I guess John didn't get that too long. But anyway, that's what they used to say. So, I want you to get your tape recorders, and I think it's about 30-something minutes, 35 minutes. But it's, I want to say, you know, I ain't never really was done fell out with Tavis Smiley or Cornell West. I just don't want them to do what some of the stuff. I don't want to be manipulated. Do you understand? So Tavis kind of redeemed himself with this interview here. So you know, don't y'all be too hard on it. All right. You know, if you get angry with somebody, then you have reason to get angry with them, but you have given them a means to make friends with you. All they got to do is take advantage of that means that you have given them. If you're angry, they can do something to correct what you're angry about, then you ain't angry no more. Do you understand? You know, that's why you don't tell a person you're angry if you're not willing to let them apologize. So, that's something else that this society could learn from their own teachings about forgiveness. You know, I've seen people go to jail and they never let the man forget it. He done paid for his crime according to them. He get out, and he still got to have that follow him everywhere he comes. Huh? Is that going to rehabilitate the man, or is that going to make sure he come back? Because when people find out he's been doing wrong, it's going to make it hard for him to get a job. And they ain't going to make it hard. They ain't going to make it hard for everybody to get a job. But it's going to make it hard for him. And then he's the means of other people keeping their job. Because if he can't get decent employment, he's going to go back to doing what got him messed up in the first place. So, it's a, you know, game been running, game been being ran on people. But it's time now to make sure everybody understands. We make your site 2020 now. So you listen to these I want you to listen, and I'll try to make sure that the sound quality is good so you can hear it. But this is starts off with Tavis Smiley interviewing Michael Moore, I think. And then it has a quote from the president. It's not so much as something that he said lately, but the one thing I admire about this president is that the things that he said in the past agrees with what he's saying now. That's like me. You can go and get some meetings I had back in 19 whatever. And if you didn't know better, you'd think that was something lately. It might have been something back in the 80s something. I respect people that you can look right down the road and the path is so straight that you can see them still. Miles up the road. It ain't zigzagging and going up. Go to zigzagging and get out of sight, and you know you're dealing with a snake there. You know, so you got to follow the curve to catch up with him. So I had to follow the curve to catch some of these boys. That's why it took me so long to put this together. Oh, it didn't take me long to put it together after I got all of the evidence that I thought, the pieces that fit. I don't like to doctor nothing and make it appear to be something that it's really not. But it's just like with anything, I'm the judge, so I have to, in this case, I have to get all the evidence together and then show you some conclusions that it led me to. Do you understand? So I want you to listen and see if you draw the same conclusion I did.
All right, please welcome Michael Moore to this program. The Oscar winner is out now with a terrific new text called Here Comes Trouble, Stories from My Life. He joins us tonight from Seattle. Michael Moore, good to have you back on the program, sir. Thank you for having me, Kevin. I hope you will. I assume you will indulge me in asking just a few questions about stuff in the news before we get to the book, which I promised to do and I'm anxious to do. Let me start, number one, with your thoughts about the president's plan today to cut the national debt. You've heard a lot of conversation about this, but today he puts a plan on the table. What do you think?
Well, I think the best part of the plan is the fact that he's come out aggressively for making our tax system fairer so that the rich have to pay their share. I think it's really I think that's just one of the best things I've heard from him in some time, so I was very happy to hear that. And I think he said it pretty clear that people do not have to worry about Social Security or Medicare or Medicaid being affected in any way by this. So I think that's a good move.
The thing right now isn't about whether we need to make tough choices. Democrats and Republicans agree on the amount of deficit reduction we need. The debate is about how it should be done. Most Americans, regardless of political party, don't understand how we can ask a senior citizen to pay more for her Medicare before we ask a corporate gentleman or the oil companies to give up tax breaks that other companies don't get. How can we ask a student to pay more for college before we ask hedge fund managers to stop paying taxes at a lower rate than their secretaries? How can we slash funding for education and clean energy before we ask people like me to give up tax breaks we don't need and didn't ask for? That's not right. It's not fair. We all want a government that lives within its means, but there are still things we need to pay for as a country. Things like new roads and bridges, weather satellites and food inspection, services to veterans, and medical research.
And I think he said it pretty clear that people will not have to worry about Social Security or Medicare or Medicaid being affected in any way by this. So I think that's a good move. I think, I don't know if you saw him this morning when he was speaking, but he certainly seems to be getting the sense that 3 years of him being a person who has turned the other cheek, who has held up the olive branch, who has believed in the adage that you should love your enemy and do good to those who persecute you. He's done very good to those who persecuted him. And he hasn't got much to show for it. And so if I were him, you know, he's not going to enter what will be his fourth year soon of his presidency. And when you're behind like this at the end of the third quarter, boy, you really want to have an incredible fourth quarter. So I remain an optimist as always, and I hope that that's what he's planning to do.
People make decisions to change course for one or two reasons, it seems to me, either because they see the light or because they feel the heat. So it's campaign season. Has the president really seen the light about the venom and the vitriol and the vulgarity of the enemy that he's up against? Has he seen the light, or is he feeling the heat because it's election time?
We missed each other today on the phone back and forth, the president and I, so I don't really know how he's feeling about this, but I'll take a stab at it and say that I think he might have started to see the light. Certainly the front page of the New York Times on Saturday, where they laid it out with the basic statistics, that his attempts over the last couple of years to move to the center, to appeal to conservatives, to sound Republican, has garnered him the following. Not a single new Republican vote amongst the electorate. Independents not moving at all toward him. And his base feeling completely depressed and debilitated by his lack of standing up for what... Here's the thing. If I did have 5 minutes with him, I would just like to say to him, what part of your 10 million vote victory, 10 million more votes than the other guy, what part of that vote did you get? The people were with you. The people wanted this change, and they wanted it now. We stood at the edge of the abyss. We were looking into a very big, deep black hole, and we voted for you to pull us back. And you've done a number of things, and you've tried. And I think it's amazing. I got to say, on some level, because of that vitriol that he's had to suffer. He's handled it quite well. I don't know if I would have handled it as well.
Out front tonight, a 400-point swing on Wall Street staves off a bear market. The reality, though...
Before we go further, in the 6th chapter of Ephesians, in the 12th verse, well, let's go to the 10th verse. I'm going to try to be brief. It says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, meaning in the knowledge of the Word of God. The Word of God is the Lord. He said, remember, he said the Word was made flesh. Then the Word is the Lord. And it says, and in the power of his might. Put, meaning the knowledge of his understanding. Lean not to your own understanding. Ain't that what Solomon warned you about? And it says, put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. You remember Wile E. Coyote when you was growing up? They called him Wiley. But he's always up to some trick to get that bird, right? Okay, well, the wiles of the devil. He's always up to some trick to keep you a slave and a tool. And I'm not just talking about black and white. I'm talking about the wicked mind that's been ruling the world. Got everybody at each other, and while everybody's at each other, they living their life of rights. Got you blaming all of the stuff they doing to you. Got you blaming it on each other. Now listen. It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. This ain't got nothing to do with what color nobody is. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but what? But against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in the positions of authority, in high places. Huh? That's what's happening now. That's what the president and all of those who trying to do and get justice and trying to do the right thing, they have to wrestle against spiritual wickedness in high places.